In 2019, Ghana established the Year of Return to acknowledge 400 years of the arrival of enslaved Africans to the New World in Jamestown, Virginia in 1619. Now, although it was initially intended to be more of a symbolic return to the country for millions, it would become more tangible, more real. Museum visits in Ghana would soon become investments. Hotel stays would transform into land purchases, and spiritual connection would then soon become historical awareness and significance. And now, acknowledging that you can't put that genie back into the bottle, Ghana, seeing the successful results of the return, decided to expand that project into Beyond the Return. This focuses more on a permanent resettlement for those of us of African descent around the world, known as the African diaspora. I am a diasporant. If we're going to talk about returning, I believe we need to discuss how we left and what has happened to us since. Just as content creators, event planners, and investment opportunities in Africa ask us to come home, it is necessary for Africa to also know what it is we have endured. That disconnect is real. Everyone won't return this year like me, but we need to go beyond that return, share the journey of our people, and see what the entire world did to us. They didn't do it to Africa. They did it to its people. I am a diasporan. This is the opening statement, and welcome to the channel for today. For some time now, I have watched many content creators, podcasts of people of African descent, of the diaspora, returning to the continent. Many of them, and I'm going to discuss, I'll try to do a shout out every day of somebody, because the goal is to see how they did it, right? They get a channel, they show the apartment, they dangle their keys, and they do all of these things after they got there. I have no idea what it looked like to box up your stuff. I have no idea what it was like for you to fill paperwork out, and did you do your ancestry? How did that work? What form? What visa? What? And so it pisses me off when I see them and they get, whether it's East Coast, East Kenya, East Africa, West Africa, wherever. And then they start their YouTube channel to tell us about, oh my God, look at what I did. I need to know what you actually did, not after you arrived, like before you got on the plane. There's a lady. Listen, I'm going to shout her out. I'm going to put the information up. Traverse Culture, I believe. Listen, I want you all to I want you to follow her. I'm going to put the stuff, but I want you to follow her because it's in my bucket. I wish I had a bucket. It's in my bucket list to talk to her, because she put pictures of boxing up the house. I sent my son off somewhere with his dad, and this is a military vet. And so I love that, because I get that. I get that. I see that. I can relate to that. And so, but everyone else, oh, I make $5,000 a month, and this is my, cut it. People like us here planning to come there need to know the details. And I'm going to shout her out, because I'll use her as today's shout out, because she has a wonderful organization that helps people in the diaspora relocate back to the continent. Specifically, I believe it's Kenya, and hopefully she'll correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm going to put that up. Reach out to her. Look at what she's doing. From literally just relatable. I knew when and if I ever was going to do this, I need to be relatable that way. I want to, tell a story but also show how it's done. I don't know everything, right? So um, this is one of those opportunities for me to learn, and I want you to watch me learn it. And so Diasporant was created because I cannot be alone. Secondly, the other thing that kind of just gets me is they create these new channels, and it's as if everything you left was bad, right? And our government sucks. Okay, you heard it from me. There's a lot of things that will never be okay again. It just won't, right? Um, but there are lots of people from whether it's the Caribbean islands or other people who have come in as diasporans from the continent itself, whether it's UK or Germany and all those from the West. I'm in America, just for the clarity. And what tends to happen is we forget that just because we're coming to the continent, um, that there are good people here who've invested their lives, their savings, they over the river and through the woods to get where they are, just so they could put roots down. And I will never crap on that dream, right? This is, I'll say this, what I want to do is to make sure for those of us who are going, that we discuss, network, and share before we get there. Listen, there's so many people who always are saying network with your people on the ground there. But what if you could actually begin that network here? What if you could actually, I speak to more people every day in Africa, whether it's East or West Africa, than I speak to in America. And that is as of right now today, right? So if you could build that network now, I want to show you how to do that. And every opportunity I can, there's an opportunity coming up soon where a friend of mine who will join us on air from Africa, I want to be the bridge, but not talk about the bridge. I want to show you what that bridge looks like, right? So there's so many people here, and we're going to go around and see what those other diasporans here look like, because you should know, not just us as the diaspora coming to the continent should know those who will never come. You should know the journey we've taken or we've been given. There are some pluses, there are some things, and let's not get caught up in how fast the water runs and how fast the electricity powers on. That's great. That's great. But there is so much more broken in us. There's so much more torn apart in us. And I think some of us only know when the journey from Africa began, at a ship, right? The walk to the castles on the doors of no return. And that's kind of where it starts for many people. But what happened before that? Like, what was before that? There were journeys and families torn apart when our descendants left. When I say we, I mean our descendants, when they left. And there's been a lot of things that make us even kooky here. You may think these Americans are, yes, we are crazy. Let me tell you why. And that, I think, is where it just burns me to when I watch so many people leave with great information. Do not get me wrong, wonderful information. But there's just this one little nugget that implies we're crazy because I wanted to take this opportunity to discuss what that journey for us looks like, right? And so today I'm going to take you out and show you where it began. So this channel is not going to be about you watching me. I need to take you somewhere. I want to show you exactly the spot of where it began. And and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. But I can. It's better if I show you. Grab your coat. It's kind of cold out. Get your hoodie. I'm gonna grab mine, and let's head outside. Okay, so I wanted to bring you out to the Great Dock, and this is actually where it was. We're standing in Battery Park, Lower Manhattan. Much of this is now a park, and I'll show you that. But it's what we call reclaimed land, and they filled in that space in order to make a park and do some other things many, many years ago. So a lot of this waterfront you see behind me actually was more inland, and but this is where the Great Dock was. Now, in a few minutes, you'll see a ferry pull in. A lot of the ferries come here. People upload and disembark from ships that take them either to the Statue of Liberty, which we'll show you that soon. Promise that's coming. Um, and Ellis Island. We're discussing that regarding some issues on immigration. But here in the lower part of Manhattan is the Great Dock, where the enslaved Africans would disembark from those ships, walk off of those ships near Pearl Street and Beaver Street, and you'll see where there are markings along the road that give a chronicalization, a timeline of when this all happened. And you'll see the connection from their disembarkation of these ships down the broad way or the wide street and head up to auction, where they will auction off to the highest bidder. Um, this is what they would have seen. This is that waterfront that they would have witnessed pulling in on those ships. Of course, none of this was here, but this is the space. This is that area. At the time, this was not New York. It was called New Amsterdam. And so the colony had been erected by the Dutch of the Netherlands. And so they named this space New Amsterdam or the New Netherlands. So this was colonized by the Dutch. And so when they were escorted down the broad way or down the wide road, wide street, headed to auction, these were the Dutch auctioning them off uh, in order to help pay for some of the expenses and supplies, the weaponry uh, that it would take. At the time, the last governor of New Amsterdam was a man named Peter Stuyvesant. His name here is notorious throughout Brooklyn and the city of New York, but most people don't really know why. But Peter Stuyvesant was the last governor of the New Netherlands or the Dutch colony. Um, I'll show you where that colony did not go the full extension of New York City. There was a wall once those enslaved personnel got off of the ships. They were forced to build the dock. That dock did not exist. So the Great Dock was built by those enslaved Africans. But something else that was also built by them was the actual wall. It now represents Wall Street, but that space was originally erected by the African enslaved. Above that wall was nothing. It was some plantations, but most of that was wild territory that was still lived upon by the Lenape people of that time. It was a native tribe, the Lenape. A gentleman, I'll show you this, who was also Dutch, Peter Minuet, tricked them into selling off the entire island of what they called Manhattan. But he had them to sell it off for $24. At the time, they believed this was just a gift. They didn't know they were trading away their homeland of Manhattan. However, that is where the island of Manhattan's name comes from. What's in the name? There you go. But Peter Minuet, a Dutch colonist, had everything to do with securing this space for the new Amsterdam colony. All around this city, again, you'll see those markings, you'll see hints of a past, and I'll show you a few. How the New Netherlands or New Amsterdam colony still exists even under a New York. One last point, what's in a name? When the Dutch lost this colony, they literally surrendered it. Peter Stuyvesant, that last governor, secured his right to stay here by just surrendering it all. They allowed him to move to an area in Brooklyn on his plantation. But in that surrender, it was surrendered to the British. The person it was named after was then the Duke of York, who was the grandson of James, King of England. So James II, who became James VII, we'll deal with that another time. But so he was the Duke of York, and so this was the New York. There is a York, England. This was the newer version of York. So named after James II, Duke of York. So it was the New York, the same way Amsterdam had named it New Amsterdam. So we'll be discussing a lot of that. Right behind me, I'll give you a bonus one, New Jersey. It's just a newer Jersey. I mentioned that. You'll hear that a lot because that's the Jersey, England. Coming up in another video, you'll see something about that. We've already got that stuff loaded. So welcome to the Great Dock and the place of the literal first place the African enslaved people arrived here. Descendants or my ancestors, but when they arrived to this country. So not only did they go to Jamestown 1619 for that colony, for the Virginia colony, Virginia, named after the Virgin Queen, Queen Elizabeth I. They also came here in the mid 1600s on the Great Dock. It's cold out. Let's get back inside. If you could fly above what the old new colony was, this is what it would look like. Looking down at it, this was the Great Dock. Right with that number 13, that was Stuyvesant's home, Whitehall. But this is what that looked like. You can see Broadway or the wide street there. Another depiction taken from the New York Public Library is of the Great Dock here. Everyone lived near the water. As those boats would pull in, this was that docking area. That's the ferry going out to Staten Island, but this is where other ferries also pull in to take you out to other sites. But this is where that was, the Great Dock. Another depiction here of the Lower Manhattan area, what was then New Amsterdam, the colony. You'll see the wall. This is where the enslaved Africans built that wall. That wall is now Wall Street. Such a beautiful park. I went to show you this here before. Heading back. Beautiful park. Remember that governor of New Amsterdam, the last one at least? Peter Stuyvesant. Many who have visited New York are very familiar with Bed-Stuy, Bedford-Stuyvesant, or Bed-Stuy. That Bed-Stuy is after this guy, Peter. Hey, Peter Stuyvesant. He is the last governor of the New Amsterdam colony. This is the dude who was responsible for ensuring my African enslaved ancestors, those who were kidnapped, brought here, he ensured they were sold at auction down at Wall Street. You can see here. New Netherlands. It's nothing like America. The name's such a beautiful park, beautiful things. After people who did horrible things. As a part of the diaspora, those who are not here, those on the continent, you need to know about us as well. This was a part of our journey. Bed-Stuy, New York. Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Named after Mr. Stuyvesant. You'll hear more about him, but just wanted to show you this here. A charter was something in the form of a permission slip from your home country or company. Here, this charter says that they will endeavor to supply colonists with as many blacks as possible. Go down below. Each of the colonists would receive 12 slaves each. They felt this would be necessary to help grow the economy and the colony of New Amsterdam. So this was a plan. This was a deal. And the second page of that contract shows that they greatly needed whatever you could find, blacks, slaves, whatever you call them. According to this document, that's literally what it says. We need as many as we can, whatever you can find. I know they're scarce. You can see Stuyvesant's name at the very bottom. I highlighted it for you. He was the director, and you'll see that in a minute. But where do we get these people from? Well, right there, off the coast of Africa. Bring them here to Manhattan. The second line is you've been granted permit to the Gold Coast. Well, who gave you that permission? Not Africa. Amsterdam gave it to themselves. It wouldn't be long before you see ships like this one, the Eagle. Here's a receipt for the above Negroes. The Eagle brought those. Here is a permission slip or charter for the Eichenboom that brought more slaves. And here's the St. Jacob. You could see here they were actually upset that at the very bottom they had brought in and stolen so many that were over at the age of 36 that, just for the sake of auctioning them off and gaining profit, we're going to have to give 3 away for the price of 2. And here you have another. This is actually a bill of lading for the Gideon. The skipper, the captain of that ship, was writing back to the colony, hey, I'm off the coast of Curacao. I'm in a harbor waiting for the winds from God just to give us favor for a prosperous voyage. Prosperous. This was to Peter Stuyvesant. The idea was that these slaves would be brought in, sold off the Great Dock, walked down to the auction house, sold, so the value of them, the profit from them, would then in turn be an investment for the new colony. Although auctions would happen at taverns and all over the place, here on Broad Street, you can see where in 1642 they created a canal south of Beaver Street. Broad Street, which is this here, was laid out with that canal down the middle. This is Broad Street. I'll tell you about that in a second, but keep in mind this is near Beaver Street. By 1655, Broad Street, this is going down toward Beaver Street there, but Broad Street in 1655 was the first street to be paved in New Amsterdam. Conveniently located right by the New York Stock Exchange. That wasn't there at the time, but this is where many were auctioned, near this location, near the New York Stock Exchange today. So I had done some research in the past and read up some things about how the city had been influenced by the vast number of beavers available or found before the New Amsterdam colony was built. I needed to go figure this out. There's Beaver Street, just as it was engraved on the street. Let me tell you how important this location is. As we turn back, that's Beaver. This is Broad, New York Stock Exchange. Let me tell you how important that is. We spoke about this earlier. This is a order concerning the Negroes, end quote. And it's about a number of Negroes, both men and women, brought from Curacao. We spoke about that earlier as well. I do hereby order and require that all payments in goods or beaver. Beaver. Well, take a look at this. This is the flag of New York City. Looks kind of like the Netherlands flag, still to this day. Take a look at that. I needed to go further. So I decided that I would take a trip to City Hall. I wanted to see this flag closer. This is New York City, City Hall. This is where our mayor operates and conducts the city's business. Some special requests would be made and given to me. And I decided I'm going to take the trip, head on into City Hall and see this flag up and close for myself. Here we are inside the governor's room at City Hall. And there it is, the flag of New York City. If you look close, there's the beaver on the flag, one below and one above. It's also in the crown molding. How about that? Director Stuyvesant, Peter Stuyvesant, we spoke about him. The slaves and merchandise arrived safely according to the invoice and bill of lading. I have sold the Negroes that have been sent at public auction to the highest bidder. Here across the street from City Hall is the New York City Municipal Building. This is the bridge of our journey. It began at New Amsterdam, still engraved on the building. People walk past it every day. And then it crosses over through transition to New York, the journey of the enslaved. As we continue to talk about the journey of the enslaved Africans who became African Americans, there are lots of stops in between there, but that's the bridge we're going to deal with today. As we looked at that, we talked about the Great Dock where everyone arrived. We looked at the broader and the wide streets where we were escorted to auction. The purpose of that, who was responsible for that. Looked at all of that. That's still just from the beginning of that bridge over to the middle. Let's kind of bring it on home to the other end of our destination of kind of why we are here, who we are. And I want to show you something here. So right behind me, we'll come to another conversation on this about Lincoln behind me here in Union Square Park. But I wanted to just kind of get to the other side of who we become as a people, right? Took a trip recently up to Harlem. Harlem is actually named after the Dutch. It's a Dutch name, even though it is known for its like severe. I don't want to use severe. Although it is notoriously known as a haven for African Americans, it actually is set so far up north of the city. It was a way to put us away from the rest of the city's residents. So there's this long space, and you'll see it. We'll take another helicopter ride, and you'll see where the city is separated, where Lower Manhattan or the New Amsterdam colony before it became New York, Wall Street, that space that led north was so far north that this is where black people felt safe. But even that area was named Harlem. There's actually, if you Google it, a Harlem, Netherlands. Like nothing here is new. Nothing here is new. And so this is kind of why we want to connect those dots. Anyway, went up to Harlem and enjoyed the African American Day Parade. And I want to show you some of the snippets of that parade because this is nothing like watching tens of thousands of people who look like you, who look like me, uh, celebrating. Not because we've arrived, we have not arrived. Um, it is us acknowledging, though, the place we are in this journey, right? It is a place where we can go and connect culturally. Um, it is a predominant black area. Um, and just the pride and the culture and the sameness. And I want to show you that. But this is the African American Day Parade, uh, a time of celebration every year. And for those who are here in the city or those who are here on uh, this region of the country, is absolutely something you should come and take a part in and enjoy for yourself. Take a look at this.
Let's go. Hey. Whoa. Make it do what it do. DJ, cut up, check them out. I need y'all to sing along with us. Come on. Hey.
Imagine a kaleidoscope of colors, a symphony of cultural sounds, and an uncontrollable sense of pride filling the streets. This isn't just a parade, it's a powerful celebration of heritage, resilience, and the enduring spirit of the 56th annual African American Day Parade. From the rhythmic beats of the streets and the dazzling floats and festive street vending, the parade tells the stories of history and triumph. Every moment is a testament to a rich and vibrant culture. You'll see families beaming, children with their eyes wide with wonder, and the generations coming together to honor their ancestors and embrace their future. This is a day where joy is infectious, where every step is a declaration of identity, and where the air buzzes with a collective sense of belonging. The African American Day Parade in Harlem, it's more than just a spectacle. It's an immersion into a living, breathing legacy. It's an opportunity to connect with a powerful narrative, to feel the pulse of a community that has also shaped so much of our world, and to be inspired by the strength and beauty that shines through it.
Hey guys, not only do I want you to take this opportunity to like and subscribe to this channel, but I want you to also know what's coming up next on our video. Right behind me, I'm going to take you on board the USS Intrepid. This is a U.S. naval aircraft carrier. Massive, absolutely massive. But if you haven't seen it, and most people haven't, uh, you'll see it here. I'm going to take you on board. I'm going to show you the flight deck. I'm going to show you where the planes are stored. And I'm also going to briefly discuss its connection to our current headlines in the world, where militaries are being shifted into the Caribbean and what that actually looks like. So stay tuned for the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this. And hit me up on WhatsApp if you want to chat more. If there's something we can do to spotlight your story in the diaspora, reach out, let me know. I'll see you on the next video.